Good morning to everybody who is tuning in. We're letting people spool up. I'm Malcolm Nance. Welcome to Black Man Spies U.S.-Iran Warcast Update Day 21, if I'm not mistaken. We have been at war for 3 weeks now. The United States has been attacking Iran for 3 weeks now. I am joined by my co-host and partner Jacob Kaarsbo, who has also found a magic display behind him to show things.
After 21 days of war, I finally got it.
It's sort of like bombing the strait, boats around the Strait of Hormuz. It's like an afterthought, or I'll get around to it.
Yeah.
21
the
days.
Strait of Hormuz. I never thought of that.
21 days. That's what it's like. All right. Let's go to the board. Let's start, and we will go with the casualties. We will eventually be upgrading this to PowerPoint. We're just so tired of having to rewrite everything and keep it all on I don't mind putting it on a non-binary, non-digital recording device, which is what they call paper. So the casualties have not really changed at all. They remain pretty much the same as what we had yesterday. I am getting concerned that the Iranians are not upgrading their casualty reports. And what I suspect is something very simple, is that the Americans are hitting things, not people. We do know the Israelis hit some people yesterday, but it was 3 people that they were specifically gunning for, and we'll talk about that soon. Right now, Iran is at 1,500 casualties, still recording 6 to 8,000, depending on which source that you want to believe. Israel has 15 civilians that have been killed in attacks. The United States still has 14 service members who have killed in action, over 200, quite possibly as many as 400 wounded. News reports are saying that the Pentagon has put a lid on this. Military hospitals are filling up, and when you add up the hospital inpatients, you're way beyond 200. And so they came up with 200 the other day, when prior to that, I believe the number was like 66. So we have actually seen this Pentagon lie on many things, and keeping the casualty numbers low or deliberately causing confusion about the casualty numbers by having multiple ones out there. You're not telling the enemy anything they know about the efficiency of you attacking them. So other personnel in the Gulf, we talked about that yesterday. We had an increase to 20. No, I'm sorry. Israel is 18. They did have 1 casualty pass away yesterday. Gulf states is 27. We said it went up 5 because they determined that the crew of the Musafa 2 tugboat, which we reported a week ago that had been attacked, had all lost their lives. All 8 crew were killed in a drone attack on it. Iraq was at 58, and Lebanon is it
Approaching 1100.
1,100?
Approaching. Has passed 1,000 yesterday.
Jesus, it's 100, 200 a day now. Yikes!
It's around about 100 almost.
Well, I don't know whether the Israelis are releasing any of their combat casualties, but I know I saw a video of Hezbollah take 3 tanks out yesterday, and they were solid hits by anti-tank guided missiles that left the tanks burning. But, most modern Western tanks, the crews survive. The tanks get lost. Whereas Russian tanks, they get hit. You just write them all off. They all just go. All right? So that being said, well, I'm glad but I'm still quite surprised. I think Lebanon is a sleeper story. We need to really sit down and get the maps with the arrows out on the Israeli operation in Lebanon. They're as far north as Tyre right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Armor battalions.
I've got a map if we should talk about it. And the thing is, I think the casualties where they really mount up are these airstrikes against southern Beirut because it's so densely populated.
Yeah, and they're civilians, most of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're killing civilians. They're Gazifying this situation.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why the numbers of people killed creep up so fast.
Okay. Next, let's go to I have decided to push significant activities down a category. And in between significant activities, I will give the price of oil every morning. I mean, it is dynamic. Right now, West Texas Intermediary, I don't know why I kept calling it West Texas Industrial. I spent a year and a half living in the West Texas oil fields. It's West Texas Intermediary crude is at $94. Had a little bit of a drop, $1.60 some odd cents drop since yesterday. But WTI is really basing those contractual fluctuations on President Trump, not on reality. And when that starts getting eaten up, reality is going to come and it's going to go boop, 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 boop. And then it'll be up
Yeah.
there with Omani and Dubai crude. Saudi Arabian, well, let's go further north. Brent North Sea crude is at 109 today. That's a benchmark. But you see now there are three benchmarks, right? West Texas, Brent North Sea crude, and what the actual cost of a physical barrel in the Persian Gulf will cost you to roll that barrel onto your ship, right? Which is today Saudi Arabian oil coming out of Yanbu, which means a place where the oil's available is at $125 a barrel. But Saudi Arabian crude is usually mixed with a better Omani crude and to make this sweet blend. And Omani crude yesterday was at $166 per barrel. And those barrels are real. They are not I trade you on paper, I'll pay this price, you'll accept this price oil in the futures. That's, hey man, that barrel's sitting right over there, and you're going to drop me $166 for each one that you load up. Probably going to have a $2 cost for the actual barrel. Just joking. But to fill a ship, it's $166 a barrel. That I saw today, 200 could come quite easily, particularly since some of the significant activities, things coming out of Donald Trump's mouth, are really going to push the price of oil up. Yes, Jay.
Yeah. Just one thing on Yanbu. Do you know how much they can ship out of there? Because what has contributed to keeping the price down slightly these last few weeks has been the fact that the Saudis have more than tripled what they pushed out to Yanbu
Right.
since the war started. It more than tripled until the Iranian attack. So it's quite significant how much they can still do. And I checked Lloyd's list. There are still 34 tankers loitering outside Yanbu today. So it's
Good.
really important how much of that capacity has been destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked that question because for those of you,
We didn't coordinate it.
I'm going to bring up, yeah, we're color coordinated here. I'm going to bring up that image of the Saudi emergency pipeline that they have going right now, which is bringing the oil from Akak near Jubail all the way over Saudi Arabia to Yanbu. And you can see this ship that came up here, came up to the Gulf, turned around, got orders to go to Yanbu, went to Yanbu, filled up with its oil, then went back. That is how ships are now bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. We also talked about Abu Dhabi's Habshan to Fujairah oil pipeline. That was struck the other day. Okay, let me answer your question. How much oil is going out of Yanbu? We know yesterday there was an attack on Yanbu's oil pumping facility. According to the Saudi Minister of Energy, zero. Yanbu is down. That's what happens when you blow up the pumping station and you can't actually physically remove that oil. Now, that could be a matter of a day, 2 days, or a year. Okay. But the Iranians said, oh, you want to ship oil? You want to use your giant oil pipeline?
Yeah.
Surprise. We can take that away from you too. So this is really going to hurt the market. but we don't know how long it's down for. That was actually my third item on significant activities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it was my fifth item on significant activities. Interesting thing is that port is being defended by Greek Army, Air Force, air defenses. And the
Okay.
Greeks are actually got their first Patriot ballistic missile kills defending Yanbu the other day. They got the ballistic missiles, the drones that got them,
Yeah.
right? So that port is down for now. We don't know how long that will be. Okay, let's go to other significant activities.
Then you can think a little bit about the Greeks, preferring their patriot resources around oil installations in the Middle East and not towards protecting civilians in Ukraine. Okay, that was
Right.
just a side
Okay.
note.
There's a lot of that going around.
A lot of shit.
Okay. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made an amazing statement yesterday. The United States will lift sanctions on Iranian oil that has already been pumped out of Iranian ground and placed on a ship. So we won't seize it if it's going to India, if it's oil that was sold to Venezuela and has been seized or being brought back. Any oil that's on that's on a ship now is no longer sanctioned. And one of my favorite comments that I heard on Fox and Friends, I'll play you the video because none of you are going to believe this. One of my favorite comments I heard with Fox and Friends, and they were arguing this. And one of the Besant or one of his proponents was saying, well, they don't get the money, right? We get the money. They get our third party allies get the sale for free. Hey, bro, that's not how it works. You pay for that oil in advance. And here's another one. Oh, I don't know who the idiots that they're sending on CNN who know nothing about international global finance. Trust me, when we were back in the oldie days having to track down terrorist finance, I learned a lot about gray area banks, about, these transactions are done at a keystroke, and this stuff's pay in advance. There's no, hey, bro, I'll just see that oil gets there. That oil will get there because there is a ship that has been contracted. That contract ship gets paid. It goes up to wherever it is, and it waits to be loaded. But that money's transferred, right? The moment that oil starts pumping, boom, they hit the keystroke. And here's what someone said on CNN
And it's
yesterday.
not dollar transactions. It's not dollar transactions, for heaven's sakes.
Oh,
The Iranians pay in renminbi.
Yeah, now they're paying in Chinese renminbi. Yeah, they might or little suitcases full of gold coins from Dubai. So the reason I'm holding my head, people, this was actually said on Aaron Burnett last night. I'm not going to play the video because it's so stupid. The guy said, well, they're not getting paid in advance. It's free oil for our allies. They owe us for this oil. And she kept going, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And he goes, yeah, that's exactly how it works. Then they come back and he says, what was the other dumbass remark related to this? He goes, well, our allies get the oil and that's free money for oil and money isn't transferred instantaneously. It's like, who are these people? Some of the stupidest people on this planet. Money is not transferable instantaneously. He thinks that they're going to a bank, filling out a check, right? Taking that check, putting it into a FedEx envelope, and they have to write on their, I remember the rest of it. They have to write on their Iranian National Oil Company, Bank of Tehran, Branch Bushehr, right? And then they express mail it there. No, that's not how it works. And then there was this freaking gem of a statement. Well, they don't have any banks over there. And she goes, yeah, of course they have banks. He goes, but we've destroyed them. And she goes, we're not hitting banks. And then he goes, we don't have any internet. right? Because they don't have internet in Iran. And this is Erin Burnett, the journalist, going, listen, no, it's the people that don't have the internet. Banks are run by the government. Yes, they have wires, they have transfer. Oh my
Oh
God, it
dear.
was painful.
Oh
It
dear.
was painful to
Yeah.
watch this. So Scott Bessett now, don't worry about it, you guys. So everything at Karg Island that gets pumped and put on a ship
Yeah.
can be, Iranians are like, what? You're
Yeah.
protecting our exports? Okay. I'll roll
But
with that.
this
Interesting.
also shows, because a lot of people are saying, but why can't we just make a blockade for the Iranian easy pass so they can't ship that oil to the market? Yeah, but then there's even more pressure
Come
on the
do it.
market. Then there's even more pressure on the market. And then, the prices will explode.
These guys, look, this is beyond the gang that couldn't shoot straight. And even the Keystone Cops, those 1920s silent movie bungling cops that were from Pennsylvania, they always got their man in the end through 30 different accidents. That's not going to happen here.
No.
Okay, this is Wile E. Coyote going after the Roadrunner stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So that's what he said. Now I'm going to show you an amazing video here in a moment. As you recall yesterday, Donald Trump put out a Truth Social post claiming that Israel and the United States did not coordinate going down to Paris South oil field and bombing it. They had nothing to do with it. And Qatar is totally an innocent victim. And you bombed Qatar, who didn't deserve that. By the way, these are his real words, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not making any of this up. Didn't deserve that, and if you should do it again, we will bomb Paris with such force that's unimaginable, and Iran will never recover from the loss of it, which is him threatening the use of an atomic bomb again, right? Okay, so on cue, as if it needed to be done, Benjamin Netanyahu came out.
Yeah. Bibi. We
And to
didn't.
cut Trump some slack, came out, made a hostage video in which he confessed
Yeah.
everything, right? Everything to keep Trump looking good and the markets from being roiled. He came out and he was like, yeah, we did it. We
Yes.
did it. And we meant to do it. But we didn't mean to do it to hurt Trump, you know? Okay, watch this hostage video. Oh, by the way, and he's used this as his proof of life video because he went and got Botox or something on his face, and now he's like, I'm alive. Yeah, well, I expect when that happens with Mujtaba Khamenei, you're all going to call it AI. But listen to what this guy has to say. This is amazing.
Israel is alone against the Syria gas compact. Fact number two, President Trump asks us to hold off future attacks. What do we see? What happens if these signs that the Iranian regime is cracking? Sometimes I wish I could divulge all. Let's see that. But will I tell you, will I commit right now that it's going to collapse? I can tell you that we're working to create the conditions for it to collapse. But it may survive, it may not. If it survives, it'll be a lot weaker. There's no comparison. It'll be at its weakest point. Shorn of industries that it built over decades, death industries, shorn of many other capabilities that they have. With the experience, with the knowledge, if they try it again, they'll be hit again, even harder. I cannot tell you the technological developments that we are engaged to anticipate this and other possibilities. But Israel has shown that it can do wondrous things. And in partnership with our American allies, we can do amazing things.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you guys got that, but he was literally laying down the groundwork of an off ramp from this war.
Mm.
He was saying, we've done it. We've hit them. They can't reconstitute their ballistic missiles. The leadership is gone, but if it's there, it's weak. Therefore, it doesn't matter if they're there and weak, and we've taken away their ballistic missile production capability, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah.
And
This
there's
is
absolutely no empirical evidence that you can actually do that, no matter how fantastic an air force you have. You don't take out people's brains, and the Iranians know how to make all this dangerous shit anyway. So the idea that unless you get rid of the regime with 100% certainty, they will reconstitute. That's for sure.
no, well, what he was doing was sort of also spelling out that even if the regime survives, which was his exact
Yeah.
words, even if the regime survives, you
So
can
weak.
stop right there. You can stop right there. If the regime survives, you have lost this war. And he is couching the terms that we got rid of the strong leaders, we took away all the toys, and now, even if they're around, we've damaged their oil. They don't have the capacity to hurt anybody, right? Now, if I'm sitting down in a bunker, first off, Iranian leaders are not in a bunker. Trust me, I have seen this many times over in my career. They're at their mother-in-law's house, right? They're in the middle of a big divan living room, sitting on the couch with Al Jazeera, CNN, BBC, and Paris News Service all on the walls there. Grandkids are playing around his feet. There's bowls of dates. The mother-in-law or his mom, whoever his most immediate relative, is bringing him out fried bread and kebabs. And he's got 7 mobile phones in front of him and 5 runners standing outside the door who will write down what he says and physically take it on a motorcycle to somewhere else, which is one of the most effective ways of passing orders. And that motorcycle will go down 10 minutes down the road, and he will go to 5 other motorcycle riders, dispatch riders, who will take that message and send it to 5 different commanders, who will take that message and send it to 50 different commanders. And in less than 4 or 5 hours, the commanders have a physical message from the supreme leader, which will be generic. Most command orders are simple like this: kick they ass today. I want you to fuck up oil refineries, right?
Yeah.
Start with Qatar, move your way back to Yanbu. Make sure Yanbu doesn't work. Easy things, right? Or text one word, Yanbu. Okay, boss, I hear you. And off they go. I'm mimicking, by the way, actual characters from an Egyptian army movie. That's a comedy like Abbott and Costello, right? That's how they do it. All
Yeah.
right. So these guys, as you can see in this graphic, which was done by a French graphic artist that is on Twitter, I'll give you his name soon because he does amazing graphics. This is right now the area of responsibility of the two forces. Israel's doing all of this, right? And, maintaining most of their attacks out in the West and the center. And the United States, we're sort of like junior partner in this war. But that hostage video that Netanyahu was forced to give was pretty much him saying, "Oh, we're junior partner. We didn't know. The United States didn't want this." You had to do aircraft coordination from the number of bombs you loaded, what the targets were, telling the Americans where you're going so we don't shoot you down, right?
Yeah.
And even destroying, somebody says that was an air defense system next to the Bushehr nuclear power plant that was hit the other day. Dudes, if you said, hey, let's go to Bushehr and destroy that one anti-aircraft system just in case, 350 meters from a nuclear reactor, I don't know. That might take some coordination. I don't believe a word he says.
No.
I really don't. For those of you who are like, Malcolm, you hate, I now have this whole Jewish diaspora calling me a anti-Semite and a hater of Israel, when in fact I'm a supporter of Israel, just not a supporter of Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, that guy, he's killed some enemies, but he's upset the whole world order. Him
Like
and
most
Donald
people
Trump.
who have actually dealt with these things, we just want Israel to be secure, and
Yeah,
that doesn't mean leaving a pile of rubble in the rest of the Middle East.
look,
You don't
man,
get security that way.
absolutely. I've had coffee and kebabs down on Yafa's beachfront with my wife. And, just being able to go and see everybody living in peace. And the next thing you know, oh, I'm going to do some stupid shit that brings 500 to 1,000 ballistic missiles down on top of us. Yes, they can shoot them down, but people are losing their lives. And worse, they've lost their peace. And by attacking everybody, when you kick over a hornet's nest, you better make sure you got all the hornets. Oh, there's 7 more nests that I didn't notice. Not helpful.
By
Okay,
the way,
so that's the next. Yeah.
Malcolm, by the way, with regard to your map,
Yes.
the South Pass is in the American AOR.
U.S. area of operations, right? Which guitar? Right
So
here.
it seems kind of funny that the Israelis have operated in the American AOR
I had to
completely.
go. No coordinate. We just did it on our own. We flew through American airspace, and those guys were like, "Hey, look, some Israelis. Hey, what's up?" No, okay. I'm gonna go with lie. And the thing is, it's such an amazing lie, but it's really designed to mollify the Arab sheikhs, not the world's oil market. Everyone is now understanding Trump and Netanyahu are two people who have two different agendas in this war.
Yeah.
But Netanyahu, by making that statement, I'm really saying he has given Trump an off-ramp. Here's the problem. We're going to talk about this when we get to the military section. I don't think he's going to take the off-ramp, bro. So, okay.
But the off-ramp, this right here makes the off-ramp impossible.
Yeah, the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, that's what makes the off-ramp impossible anyway.
Brother, that is the on-ramp and off-ramp. Okay? I mean, it's and guess who owns it? Not you. Not you. And you can't own it. And we're gonna. The thing is, I wrote 2 really good stub stacks about why you can't take it and the 3 military land options to take it. Now I'm going to have to write another one that's going to be a detailed arrows and maps of where you have to fight through and where you have to land. And I saw a journalist. This is the difference between people like you and I and journalists. I saw a journalist, very distinguished journalist, writing for, wasn't The Atlantic, what was it? It was, I can't recall the paper. But he came out and said the most strategic islands in the Strait of Hormuz that we should really keep an eye out for are these 2. I'm going to show you right now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
Abu
3
Musa
of them.
and Tun.
Yeah, Lesser and Greater
No, it's
Tun,
not.
Abu
No, it's
Musa.
not.
And it's like,
What?
okay, I
Did
constantly
you just take a
complain.
map and look for islands or what?
Yep. I constantly complain about the difference between academics and practitioners.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not an academic. I thought years ago I was going to start my work on a PhD. And all I realized is that having a PhD would just open the door to where I could explain all of my practical life lived experience, right? Going back and forth through the Strait of Hormuz. As we explain every day, this is the Eastern Strait of Hormuz entry point to that. These little boxes are called the Traffic Separation Scheme, or the TSS. By tomorrow, I swear, I'll have a PowerPoint, and I can press that, and it'll have arrows and labels. The Traffic Separation Scheme is the deep water. Empty ships come into the north. Fully laden ships come out of the south. They are only separated by a mile apart. So you could have 20 ships inside the TSS, right? Fully loaded and fully empty on both sides. This is the on-ramp and the off-ramp to the Persian Gulf. But to get there, you got to go past a lot of Iranian positions. First off, all the way back here, going to Pakistan, is an Iranian mountain chain, the southern Zagros Mountains. This is called the Merzan Range. That is 3,000 to 5,000 feet high. It's
All
1,000
the
to
way over here.
2,500 meters high. And it is a wall of solid mountain that overlooks you, and you can look down on the Strait of Hormuz. This side is actually much lower than the mountains here, much lower. Actually, I actually have a chart for this showing the elevation change there, and it's pretty steep. Not a topographic chart, a color chart. But why would you say Abu Musa, Greater Tum, Lesser Tun Mountain would be the most significant places? I have fought Iranian vessels right here next to Siri Island and chased them up to Lesser Tum. That is not where combat goes. You can actually bypass that to the south. That takes you up to Qatar and Saudi Arabia. There's a bypass. You can come down here south of Abu Musa. Abu Musa Island is probably going to get seized by the United Arab Emirates. It used to belong to them. The Iranians took it about 20 years ago. All right.
And
this journalist is like,
probably what the journalist has read. And then he thinks, oh, this is
stuff. That's the big place. And to you gentlemen who are in journalism, I always say this, even though I'm a member of the National Association of Black Journalists, I am not a journalist. All right. That is a career path. You have to go to journalism school for that. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a spy that talks on TV. And my job is to explain highly complex intelligence-related activities and share that lived experience so that you don't say anything stupid, right? Or you win the office cooler wars. But here, this is Greater Tum. This is Lesser Tum. These are two side-by-side islands. They're very small. I've sailed by these islands. You can see them. You could throw spitballs across them just like that, right? And then, but how did he forget all these islands in Iran all around there to go, this is the key to the Strait of Hormuz? Bro, no, it's not. Okay, it's not.
And obviously he hasn't followed,
More
what has
coffee.
happened, because the Iranians have already blocked, the traffic lanes.
No,
and
nowhere
are
near Greater and
diverting
Lesser
the
Tum.
traffic to the Easy Pass route that we have put on a map also. So, and that's
No, nowhere near those two islands. Listen, journalists, if you're out there and you're watching this, right? And you should be inviting me and Jacob onto your podcast, right? Like Jim Acosta, all you guys out there. We will explain this to you, that all of the ship attacks have occurred right here and right here.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Journalists are good at reporting. Focus on reporting and let someone with a little bit of knowledge about these things explain what it actually means, the reporting you dig out.
We would have, and as I keep explaining, we wouldn't have to take those two or three. We'd have to take all of them, right? First, Larak. Larak's also an oil terminal. Kishem Island in the village of Kishem. That's where the IRGC that's where the Easy Pass office is. Right?
Exactly.
They're sailing up here to get out, and they're going between, and their Easy Pass says go, and they are sailing outside of the traffic separation scheme. For some reason, the Iranians want ships that have purchased oil to come this way around the TSS, which may be an indicator that it's already mined, right?
Yes, exactly.
Or they're prepping for it to be mined,
Yeah.
and you just haven't, it may have said tanker number 50 on them, because these mines can hear you. And as a tanker goes by, it can count how many ships go by and then detonate on whichever one that you set. So the Iranians are bringing you this way. Well, we need to take, if we were to do anything, we would have to launch amphibious forces from here. The first place they would have to go up here is not just Khuzestan. There's small villages here. I've seen those villages with my eyes. Everyone can see those villages with your eyes. It's really close. And you'd have to land at these places, and there's only one coastal road down at the bottom. Kids with donkeys could kick over boulders and drop them on you, right? And then you have to take that, and now you have the Iranian or IRGC and the Iranian army are above you. You would have to land at Larak Island. The easiest thing these guys could do, that's an oil terminal, is let you land and have it remotely detonate because there are oil facilities on there, pumping stations. Larak is a transshipment point. Blow it, right? Let the Marines get on that island and get inside that terminal and, with EOD and SEALs, and boom. Oh, but before you do that, you just mine the shit out of all of this, right? And then you have to take Hormuz Island to protect your north flank from Bandar Abbas. Also to fire onto Bandar Abbas. You can see Bandar Abbas from Hormuz Island, Jizrat Hormuz. And they'll be bombarding your ass with rockets, missiles, little handheld drones carrying improvised explosive devices. And you've got to get off your boats first to do that. I don't care how many airstrikes we're conducting. You would have to kill every civilian in there. This is the third largest city, fourth largest city in Iran, Bandar Abbas. Then you got to take all of Kishem Island and this little island right here called Hengam Island, right? 54 villages on that island. Oh, and they destroyed the water desalination plant. So if you land there, you're going to have to bring your own water over the ocean. No airstrips there that can handle sea transports and all that stuff, aircraft. Then you get down to Tumb, Greater Tumb, and Lesser Tumb Island, and Abu Musa Island. You're going to have to land on those too. But while you're there, you have to land on Siri Island, where I had a full-scale naval battle, okay, and sank a ship, blew up an oil platform, shot down an airplane in 3 hours, right? And they were, imagine that times 10 minus the airplanes, just 100 drones.
Yeah.
And you're going to take Furor Island, and further up is a place called Quiche Island. I've been to these places. I was in these waters in April '88 because we didn't give two flips about their internet. We were looking to sink things, right? These places are not healthy. All right. And right now you can go, well, it only has 15 Rev Guardmen on it. 15 Rev Guardmen brought their lunch out there somehow, which means small boats are moving back and forth. And the small boats are moving back and forth. This is the first place. Wait, what? First place, second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place, sixth place, seventh place, eighth place, ninth place, 10th place. We're going to lay a shit ton of mines, right? And then we're going to put out a video showing that we laid those mines.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to go, we're not going anywhere. I actually saw somebody said, why don't you take oil tankers and let them hit the mines? It's like, this is the whole purpose of this, brother. It's not to use an oil tanker as a minesweeper. And believe me, at this point, I suspect that's exactly what they intend to do. They're going to run an oil tanker. They're going to buy an oil tanker, double wide, very large cruise carrier, a very large crude carrier with a double hull. And they're going to run it in front of the amphibious invasion force to eat missiles, right? And to also what we call de facto minesweeper. I didn't even get to can we continue? Jacob, you got anything to say about this stupid shit?
No, I mean, it's going to be really, really, really hard and take a long time. And will it be safe before the regime is ousted completely? No, it won't be safe. It'll always be risky. As long as the regime
I
is
know
there.
some of you may just think, who've been watching this since day one, are going, Malcolm, you keep saying this every day. Yes, this is a daily briefing. And one of the things we want to emphasize is that there are really solid ass risks that you need to incorporate into your heart and soul of how bad this could get. And if we're talking about it here, drinking coffee and yakking away on the internet, the Iranians have been planning it for 47 years. I
Yeah.
fought them 38 years ago, and all of that happened, except
Yeah.
for the drones and anti-ship missiles. Well, I almost ate the last anti-ship missile they had. They have 800 or 900 now.
Yeah.
Okay, they ain't stupid.
Exactly.
So that being said, yes, sir.
And it's also, because we can see obviously that Trump and Bibi are not getting any wiser about this whole war that they're conducting. So, that's why we have to repeat these things constantly.
Okay, well, wiser. You know what's
Oh,
okay?
wiser.
Let's move
Less
on.
stupid.
Let's do
Less stupid.
Kuwait's Al Ahmadi oil refinery, which is on the coast. I've spent time there. Was struck again last night, or I should say this morning for them. It was struck again because the Kuwaitis are easy, and I think they're going to start making the treatment Qatar got. I think Kuwait's about to get, because Kuwait has a lot of military bases there.
Yep.
As I said, Yanbu port is down. They are taking no loadings. They may just be evaluating the damage, or the damage might have been serious. We'll see when Yanbu port goes in, which means Saudi Arabia is now exporting almost no oil, zero. Until Yanbu comes back up, no oil is leaving Saudi Arabia. Maybe there's some trucks forming a conga line going up to, I don't know. So going up to Jordan. Iran has some things they want to say about this. They said your attacks on Paris South oil natural gas field means that we now have permission for, here's their exact words, zero restraint against the Gulf states. They can now escalate if necessary because, well, as Benjamin Netanyahu proved, all of this, Israel is doing things that get their countries a massive oil tax or fine. The Qatari chief executive officer of Qatari Gas yesterday said about the Ras Laffan oil terminal, natural gas processing terminal, in which we determined only 2 of 14 of their natural gas processors, which change it into liquefied natural gas, were damaged. And it's only $3 billion, not the $20 billion that we thought. But in terms of all of its losses, here's what the Qatar Gas CEO said. We took a $20 billion loss. That's all materials that they would need on that facility, which we paid $26 billion for just 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago.
And I think what they also say is it's somewhere between 3 and 5 years to build it up again.
They said that yesterday. They are declaring force majeure for 3 to 5 years. Which means all your contracts are null and void. We took your money, still got your money, but you ain't getting jack shit. We're going to use it to rebuild that refinery and see if you can come back. Okay. Okay, moving on. Oh, that was just the significant activities. We didn't even get to the regular news. All right, political and diplomatic. This will tie into the military. A statement was made by an unnamed White House staffer, which means that it's one of the top 10 staff at the White House, and it was done deliberately, leaked by the White House to Axios. And they said, ready for it? We need about a month to weaken Iran, and then we can take Karg Island. So remember, this ties into the military. The USS Boxer Amphibious Readiness Group has left San Diego 3 weeks early from its regularly scheduled deployment. The Boxer ARG with the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, same size as the group on the Tripoli, is now headed directly to the Persian Gulf. I used my what do they call it? Your navigation tracker which is where you can calculate the course and speed of vessels. You can adjust the course and you can determine how fast a ship moving at X speed can reach a destination. If the USS Boxer and its Mew move at their absolute fastest speed and are resupplied, it will take them 22 days to reach the Persian Gulf. That's no stops, no logistics resupply, everything at sea. But amphibious ships don't move like that. They can't sustain that. They will move about 15 knots. That other one was 20 knots. 15 knots means they will arrive in the eastern Strait of Hormuz, right here, in 30 days, 12 hours. 30 days. So someone obviously did the math at the White House. And that quote, we need about a month to weaken the Iranians and to seize Karg Island. I'll say it every day. I need to run this into your heads.
It's fuck.
Show them on your map where Karg Island is, please. Show them on your map where Karg Island is.
It's north of this. I need to go
It's
back.
way up there,
It's
next to
all the way
Bouchier.
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got to go through to get to Karg Island?
Yeah. You gotta go through all this, and you gotta clear all this, and then
gotta
we'll
go
take
through-
you.
They're talking like it's safe to go through, and we're going to Karg Island, bitch. You got to survive getting through the Strait of Hormuz with amphibious ships that with 2,000. What are you going to do? Offload all the Marines in Oman and fly them to Kuwait and then run those ships through the gauntlet, in which they may be damaged, destroyed, and sunk or disabled to where they have to pull into Abu Dhabi or Dubai ship port, right? This is
Malcolm, man, they're still playing the video game. They're sitting there, thinking it's a video game.
But in their crazy mind, I believe that Republicans do not. Maps offend them. Don't be showing me no maps. We going to Park Island. It's like, have you ever heard of
have all that oil? Get it?
We going down
And
to
Lindsey Graham is chiming in.
It's like an old-timey movie. We're going down by Gulch Creek and we're going to steal all the gold. And then they use that famous phrase, let's cut them off at the pass. That's the pass.
Let's cut them off. Let's cut them off.
We're having way too much fun. I swear to God, everybody, for those of you who think that we're not taking this seriously, this is precisely what the briefing would look like in the ops room, only there'd be more jokes being thrown out from the people who realize that this is just stupidity madness, right?
Yeah.
Cut them off at the pass there, Slim, down at Iranian Gulch. We getting all day on it. It's like, what? Okay. 30 days. So they have just given up the plan, right? That they are going to wait 30 days for these two Marine Expeditionary Units to get together. Now, it would not surprise me. The 26th Mew just returned back from a 6-month deployment overseas. For some bizarre, strange reason, they don't even want to look at taking away that amphibious group that's in the Caribbean. That's like Trump's baby. He's like, no, I need that there. On day one of this war, I would have flipped them. They would be there right now, right? They could be meeting up with Tripoli, and there was no planning for this. This is ad hoc. They're doing it off the top of their head. And they're like, well, go send some more boats then. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
Mr. President, but it'll take 30 days. And he'll go tell them to go fast. It's like, that is fast.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. They are saying all of the papers now, major newspapers, New York Times, Washington Post, all of them are saying that the intention is for Trump to occupy, or this is even funnier, occupy or blockade Karg Island. But bro, you can't occupy, you can't blockade Karg Island because all the ships that are there, we know there are like 12 ships there right now. Once that oil gets on them, the sanctions were lifted, so they're free to go.
The sanctions were lifted. Oh yeah, Scott Best.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
and Karg Island, can I point out to you, even though he pointed it onto a map, Karg Island is 388 nautical miles from the west side of the Persian Gulf. That's 388 miles of missiles shooting rockets at you, mines being laid. And I just want to point out to you, I want to show you Karg Island. Um, just utterly amazing. It's like these guys, they don't understand the laws of space, time, and physics still apply. And they're like, oh no, let's just go there and steal their wallet. No, to steal their wallet, you have to get past a electrified fence with guard dogs, automatic shooting machine guns, drones that drop out of the air, right?
And millions of bouncers.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Hold on. Where's my Karg Island map? I was using Google Earth before. So do you have
completely brainwashed bouncers that don't believe they believe they get to a better place if they are indeed shot.
Yeah. So utterly amazing people. We're not doing this for amusement. Okay. This is serious business. Earth.
But it's crazy. You know, even when you're at war, you need to bring humor because otherwise you don't survive. So
oh my God, you'll cry so much. You'll just cry all day. You'll be sitting in your room. No,
yeah.
we bring that necessary dark humor from the U.S. intelligence community right down. So here we are, Karg Island. Karg Island, I suspect, okay, my best guess estimate is the Marines are not going to land on Karg Island. I suspect this is actually a piece of strategic deception. No, honestly.
It could be.
I think it will be a special operations raid out of Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. And quietly, if you hear that 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment has just quietly embarked on airplanes out of Pope Air Force Base or Joint Base, Camp Liberty, out of there. And that means they're flying to Kuwait and they will be in Camp Buling and they will be staging, or they'll move out of Camp Buling to some base in northern Saudi Arabia where we do special operations. And all of those helicopters will get there. The flight time between Karg Island and Kuwait is an hour and a half on helicopter, right? Maybe let's call it, if they're going very low, very slow. This is the Kuwaiti coast. This is where we saw that special operations helicopter in northern Saudi Arabia practicing long distance missions yesterday. All I have to do from this is where the base Camp Buling is fly over here. You'll go to Bubiyan Island. Now, this is amazing to me because the only route that they can take that the Iranians wouldn't be really waiting for them for is coming from the north. But if you want to do it, you got to come down here, stage again. I've been to Wafra, refuel, and then come from the southeast. Because as we showed the other day, all the air defenses are on the northwestern corner from the Iran-Iraq war. Now, they've blown up the air defenses, but you can blow up the air defenses all day. If the air defense is a surface-to-air missile that's sitting in the back of somebody's Toyota Corolla, and they can fit across the back seat, I've seen it, then when your helicopters start jumping in and drones start shooting everything, because they'll come in with drones first, and they want you to shoot so that they could see your air defense, right? All you got to do is stay in the town of 8,000 people and let those things get close. But what you will do before that, for about the next month, right, or the next few days, you'll plant improvised explosive devices everywhere, including rigging that entire oil facility as a giant bomb. You want that working right up to the last day. Because the last day, if the Americans take that island, they're going to start bringing tankers over from other countries, and they're going to start stealing your oil. And this is why this facility wasn't running for 20 years during the after the Iran-Iraq war, because they didn't want people stealing their oil. They just left it. The Darius oil field that is below this and on the coast, if the pumps are blown up, you can't get the oil. And Trump has made it clear the objective of this is to take away their oil. Okay, you could do that right now with one Hellfire missile. One. Set fire to the freaking facility. But he's got
and what would the consequence be? The consequence
$250 barrels of oil.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what the consequences will be.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And even if they take the island, they can't market the oil.
How does it get out of the Persian Gulf? Because in their minds, it is a foregone conclusion that the Strait of Hormuz will be taken. I really think they're going to use Rangers. It would be a waste to use Delta Force or any of these real Tier 1 special operations groups. That's a Tier 2 mission. That's a Tier 3 mission, right? That's where you use Marines. You could fly 82nd Airborne. People have already talked about the 82nd Airborne parachuting into a giant burning oil refinery. Right? Go figures, folks. So that being said, that madness that these people keep bringing up, I mean, you just have to ignore this, but it's in their head. So be prepared to hear us talk about this for the next 30 days. I think this raid will happen sooner rather than later, quite possibly even next week, right?
Could be.
We'll see. The Wall Street Journal has reported, this is our last piece of news. The Wall Street Journal reported there is now an air battle for the control of the Strait of Hormuz. Remember I said those little small boats are out? Well, obviously, U.S. intelligence has figured out that they've been out a lot longer than that. But since we just decided 21 days in the war to open the Strait of Hormuz, because no one ever thought about that before, they're using A-10 Warthog aircraft and AH-64 Apaches flying from the United Arab Emirates to hunt down small boats. And at some point, somebody's going to realize this is happening, and they're going to send out some small boats, but they're going to have 10, 15 surface-to-air missiles on them. Or they're going to bring up some hidden surface-to-air missile battery, and they're going to conduct what we call a SAMbush, right? A surface-to-air missile battery ambush. And we're going to start losing things down there, so... All right, that's enough.
That's likely.
One Gosh almighty.
Piece of news also that folks might have seen is these European countries, Canada and Japan, that have talked about also contributing to opening the Strait of Hormuz. Just, in Danish press, this was, some journalist that was talking, doesn't know jack shit. None of these countries want to go to war with Iran. Mm-hmm. If you try to break the blockade, you will go to war with Iran, so that's never going to happen. They are talking about, and even French President Macron shut all that journalistic nonsense down last night and said this will depend on the war actually stopping, which is a no-brainer. And then you'll have to negotiate with Iran about what it takes to get through the actual Strait of Hormuz, because the Iranians are not going to just say, well, no worries, just ship everything you like. They're going to say, but maybe we want this and that and X, Y, Z. So it's going to be a long time. Don't worry about that. That's just press going
Oh, we have
off the
questions.
rails.
I forgot we had questions. Are these from today?
Questions? Yeah.
Oh,
Questions.
I'll answer some of the questions. I know yesterday the Israelis killed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps head of intelligence.
Yeah.
And every one of these are announced like that. That's it. We killed the guy that will stop this war. My response to that is, so you're putting a guy like me in charge.
Next.
Some guy no one's ever heard of, all right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to use my real name. I'm going to start using a code name like Abu Ass Kicking. And we're just, the young guys are going to take over and go, you know what they don't expect? They don't expect this. Let's do this. And then what we'll do is we'll put out a lot of signals. We're going to do something else. And Trump will be like, look, they don't care. We're going to bring all our small boats to Kaarsbo Island. 33,000 of them. And Trump will be like, look, they're taking the bait. Okay, some of the questions. Sharon Bellieu, is that Bellieu? Is that a U or E? Bellieu says Russia is on their way to Cuba. We don't trust their actions. That makes them closer to the East Coast. It's only a Russian oil tanker. They're bringing 760,000 barrels of oil to Cuba so that they don't lose power. The biggest supplier of Cuba today has opened all economic relations is Mexico. So all those Ford trucks we're not going to be buying because we're boycotting them, you can now go to Cuba. Dan Demenberg says, I've seen a lot fewer strata tankers over central Israel. Has the pace of bombing slowed down? As you can see from that picture we had before, Israel has some responsibilities. The pace of bombing probably has slowed down, and they're probably using more from the aircraft carrier.
It has slowed down.
Urban
over
Hermit
the last
asks,
couple of days.
Is there any point where the Joint Chiefs just say, sir, we're not doing that? Yeah, we could get to that, where they say, I want you to nuke South Pars oil field. I want you to drop an atomic bomb on it or a neutron bomb or something like that. They'd be like, no, sorry, not happening. Nancy Ellison says, where are the destroyer tenders? Now Bahrain is gone. Are they in Jebel Ali? No, they're not. They are definitely not in Jebel Ali. Jebel Ali has been that's south of Dubai. That's the southern suburb of Dubai. That place is getting hit. Everything is out of the Arabian Gulf. So nothing's in the Arabian Gulf. They're in the Indian Ocean somewhere. Cheryl Atkins said, your thoughts on the number station. Cheryl Elkins asked about number stations. Number stations are this old World War II thing where we would broadcast numbers that equate to a code inside your secret decoder ring code book, and you were to take action based on that. That could be real, or it could be just a deception to get people to listen for that. Because I know I'm a ham radio operator, and the ham community is like, what's this? Number stations in Farsi. Yeah, okay. We're probably playing a recording from 1952 when we overthrew the government, right? Hellenish says, would Iran hold back actual casualty numbers to make it look less impactful? Yes, but the International Committee of the Red Crescent, again, we talked about this. You actually have to bury those bodies, right? You actually have to show where those bodies are being buried. They have to be in the ground in 24 hours, according to Islamic law. So those funerals are going to be noted out there. We can see these things. Sabrina says, are the killed in the casualty list? Yes, the first number we indicate is the number killed. The second number is the number of wounded. Andrea D says, FYI, NORAD flight jets had to escort different planes to Montreal Airport. I didn't know that, but it could have been an in-flight emergency. The biggest cause of in-flight intercepts are drunk passengers. Not joking. It has nothing to do with the war. I'm a mother of Yorkies. What a great name. That is a great name. Has Israel given the rationale, and what do you think may be the real reason of why they're attacking the energy infrastructure? Yeah, they pretty much just want to eliminate Iran as a player. But look, 93 million people.
Scorched earth.
Yeah. 93 million people. Could the IRGC's fast boats have stealth coatings to evade radar detection? They could, but they don't. I have literally seen small boats in front of my ship at 5 miles, and only the harbor navigation radar, the kind that you use to come into a port, that was the only thing that could detect them. The big military surface search radar had great difficulty seeing these tiny little boats because they's tiny little boats. That's why we flew 5 large or aircraft carrier based radar planes from Virginia Beach to the Gulf to try to track those tiny boats. We're obviously having trouble. Has Iran issued a fatwa for Bibi Netanyahu? That's from Diane K. Yes, that's been out there for a while. So anybody who sees him, you can get him if you're a good Shia Muslim. Aaron says, how bad is the devastation to Israel infrastructure regarding the military civilian elements? Not bad. They didn't make a lot of breakthroughs. Look, what was it, a year ago when they dropped, 500 ballistic missiles in there? They hit some bases, but Israel's pretty well protected. Norma Hunt says, are there any reports the Iranian people in Iran now and the effects of the bombing? What we see Gazifying in southern Lebanon and Israel and civilians fleeing, but what's really happening? If you really want to get some good insight to that, there are 3 channels I recommend you watch. Al Jazeera, because even though they're out of Doha, Qatar, they are like the Muslim channel, right?
Mm.
BBC and France 24. Actually, CBC Canada is pretty good too. They're doing nonstop coverage. They have people in the theater. CNN has Fred Fleitzer in Iran. There are not massive protests and riots starting, with 400,000 people right now. That's not happening. These people are staying home trying to take care of their kids and not get killed by American and Israeli bombs. Yes, somebody noted that tonight is Eid al-Fitr, the end of Ramadan. Boy, you're going to see a party there. All right. Is it Friday? It's Friday. So right after prayers, everybody's eating. They could eat all day, every day for the next year until Ramadan comes back. David Flitman says, what happens if Trump declares victory? What do you think, Jason? Jacob?
Well, I think the Iranians will keep shooting and they won't open the Hormuz Strait. And then Trump, he can go around declaring victory any way he likes. But the Iranians will say to the Gulf states, well, we don't like the US bases on your territory after what has happened. So we'll keep up the blockade until those bases are gone. Over to you, Donald.
Barbara Shields asks, won't they block the Strait of Hormuz with burning tankers? Yes, if you try to come into it. They don't have to bring old tankers up and sink them, although that could happen. You could see a tanker suddenly materialize in Karg Island that after, as Delta Force is running and jumping into that island, that tanker come down, and when it goes through the Easy Pass corridor, right, toll booth up near Kishem Island, IRGC could man that thing, turn it around, drive it right into the middle of the traffic separation scheme.
Yeah.
Sink it. Scuttle is what it calls when you deliberately sink it. Scuttle it or block it and try to ram a U.S. warship.
Yeah.
All of this available. And they have enough drone tech to drive a ship remotely. This is all possible. If I were IRGC that place would burn, baby. I'm just telling you. So last question. Are there...
Just one remark on this also, as we've seen, the 3 ships that have been hit right at the narrowest point is not a coincidence. So this is, I guess they're still there and they want to keep them there. We're likely to see more of it.
Yep. Okay, a last question from Julie West and Mother of Yorkies. Are there mines that can be turned on and off remotely and at will? Yes, there are. It's not those big ones with the horns. It's the ones that don't look like mines, that lay on the bottom of the ocean. Drones, torpedoes that hover, right, just under the ocean, but can receive signals. Yes, that can happen. Unhealthy. Okay, that's it for day 21. I will admonish you again. Yes, Jacob.
Yeah, no, I saw a question whether I was going skiing today, but it's next Friday I'm going skiing. So next Friday afternoon, I'll be logging on from somewhere in Germany on my way to the French-Italian border where I'll go skiing.
If you can look out my window, I am going skiing shortly because, as you can tell, we got a boatload of snow and it's going to snow for the next 4 hours. And I'm in a city that should be technically at 60 degrees. I'm in Montreal and I'm going to do my ski touring practice. I'm going to do go up and down the hills and practice my ski touring. All right, that's randonnée for those of you who don't know. Ski mountaineering. And also I got to wax my civilian skis. So and get another set of bindings mounted. But don't worry, Jacob, I have a pair of skis for you. I'm gonna have to ship out there. You got to get your own randonnée bindings, but you'll be right up there with the freaking US Arctic troops. I have their skis. All right, guys.
So when we go to Greenland again.
Oh, no. Yeah, I want to go to Greenland to do that cross Greenland trek. It's 30 days though, right?
Damn.
Across the ice field. So, listen, thank you for coming. Don't forget, I'm going to send out the schedule for tomorrow. We're going to do this. If it gets really bad, because today's Friday, it might be lesser, but check in the morning to see how bad it can get, because it's been getting pretty bad. The politics and the energy war is exceeding all of this. Little administration, go up to that gray box that I'm pointing at the top that says Black Man Spy, press on it. And the subscription boxes for free subscriptions to Jacob Kaarsbo and Malcolm Nance pop up there. And also, if you've missed this will be on Substack, and then it will also be on my Black Man Spy channel on YouTube. Please, if you got some value out of this, become a paid subscriber. Throw Jacob and myself $7, and then you will. Yesterday we did that paid subscriber one for on the next 4 steps of escalation. And I'm not going to put that out. Those paid subscriber videos are going to be put up on my Substack page. The only way you can watch it if you missed it is if you're a paid subscriber. And I go through everything. I mean, what you're going to see next over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And it's unhealthy at every step. And you're seeing some of it now, but the analysis is fairly solid. So you can do that. So please become a paid subscriber. If you have friends out there in Substack world, I'm trying to reach 100,000 unpaid subscribers, just general subscribers. Tell them to subscribe to Black Man Spy. I'm at 95,460 some odd. And I'm
trying
actually
to
getting
reach 8,000.
Yeah, good. I'm actually getting more paid subscribers than regular subscribers. So, but thank you all for supporting this and this mission. And Jacob, I will see you tomorrow. Yes?
See you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
See you.